I'm live at 5:55. I like it when things rhyme. Welcome to those of you who are here. I know there'll be more who join us. And I want to say we're in a brand spanking new time, brand spanking new energetics and energies and level and another rebirth. And so I got a lot of information about this, and I will share it all, of course. And then what is interesting is that then I saw, hi Tina, and then I saw that in fact we have just ended the the Mayan calendar, completion of the Mayan cycle. So it's it always surprises me. I should stop surprising myself, really, but it always surprises me how these greater things line up. So welcome, Carolyn. Hello, Margaret. Yeah, so I started kind of playing around with, making some notes about February. And so I guess I'll just start. And I've got, a lot of different bits and pieces. So February, of course, is the second month, and we're in a 7-year, which means we're in a 9 universal month. And 9 is about endings or completions. And the key words that came for me as I was tuning into it was opportunity for completion level for many, in many ways, to mastery and lots of partnership things occurring. So that might be business or personal partnerships. Hello, Dawn. And also there's this idea that this month enables this balancing of enables this opportunity of divine balance, that there's this completion here for whatever is required for these higher divine partnerships. So this month brings lots of opportunity for that. For the coming together of those. So I wrote, I'll just read it instead of trying to remember it. We're in massive humidity here. It's unbelievable what is going on with our weather. I did a session out in the clinic, and I walked into the house and it felt like I walked into an oven. I'm not joking. So this month, completion for what is required in preparation for higher divine partnerships and or the coming together of these. Energy of mastery, visionaries. So we might see more arising of visionaries during this month, or of you having visions. And trust, magic, alchemy, and transformation are keywords for this month. So people who are working with the 7 in their life path, that's often a shadow element or a shadow aspect that they are required to master, that inner dialogue with trusting self, or trusting what you get. Right, so let me check. I think I've done those notes. Yes. So these are my notes from yesterday and today. excuse me, just see that there's a little reference to something else that I wrote. No, I think I'm going to, I think I will leave that. I'll do that when I talk about government. All right, sorry. So as we have passed this point, this juncture, that's what I wrote yesterday, we will make decisions, forming collaborative groups and create new templates for all aspects of our new earth. So I can see groups of everyone from children to elders, and mutual consideration and space held for all. So lots of, sitting around the table or sitting around the fire, throwing our ideas into the pot, but this great collaboration, this great co-creation, everybody having input, everybody having an opinion, everybody being heard, and the whole group being brought into that consideration, and then decisions made from the higher consciousness and from the heart. Hello, Melanie, welcome. So this is what I got about that day, that we're going into this rebirth and into this renewal, into new energies, and a new you, new self. And for you to be asking yourself right now, well, what is it? What is it that I love? What brings me joy? And then to be, coming into the wholeness of our masculine and feminine aspects. And then it's like how it shows up to me is, and I know we've done this before, and I know many of you have done this before, it's like this rebirth of the Holy Divine Child. And I'll just read this because I think it's beautiful. So this rebirth, this renewal, these new energies, you, self, what brings you joy? What do you love? What do you love to do, to be, to experience, to hold? In this masculine, feminine birthing of self, the divine holy child birthed through the holy breath. And this is your holy breath. So this is you coming into your greater alignment to this higher level, and these new energetics streaming in that began yesterday and more fully today. But we were beginning to feel them yesterday. They were creating quite a lot of pressure in the body yesterday. They are intense. They create that feeling, like pressure in the head, for example. And that this is us, honestly. It's really beautiful. It's really exciting. And it's really challenging. It's really challenging. So, somebody wrote to me and said, I'll read it to you because probably it's a really good summary. Oh my God, this energy is yuck. I have to keep reminding myself that however deeply uncomfortable it is right now, I know that when we feel shite and uncomfortable and our bodies work their way through this and face it head on, that is doing your inner work. That is you growing. We grow through the pressure despite how uncomfortable. It's so hard to say just allow and flow when the 3D pressures continue building. Money doesn't come out of thin air and bills exist. These energies are deeply clearing and getting so many to just be in the here and now. You can't plan ahead or know what's coming in. It's simply in the unknown. I've tried many times to get moving forward and even go back into the 3D, but it won't allow you to go back into the 3D job once you've left, and there's a lot of truth in that. So I didn't ask her if I could share that, but she'll know who she is, and there's huge wisdom in what she has written, and it's very challenging. And the way that I can the way that I navigate that, which has worked for me, is to bring myself back to this absolute present moment now. And I remember I had to do it as my mantra when my dad died, because it was an interesting experience for me, because I felt as though my entire world had fallen apart when he died, and I had to keep coming back to right now, in this very moment, all is well in my world. And it wasn't. It absolutely wasn't. I didn't know who I was and what I was going to do, and I was in despair and a wobble, and it was just such huge grief. And that was how I navigated it. Right now, in this very moment, all is well in my world. And then I might have to follow that up with, I can breathe, I have food, and I have a roof over my head. And so it brought me right back into this very moment. And I suggest that that is how we navigate this time, is that we are either here right now, not looking behind in any way, shape or form. We're in the brand spanking new, and we want to be like relishing that. So it's either being right present here or projecting into the future, not making comparisons, not dipping into the past. We're creating the new by being in the now. That's really the gist of it, I guess. So we are creating what is coming by being in the now, by speaking in the now of what we have as though we have it now, as though we're living it now, as though we're in present moment, in the existence of being in abundance, always in flow. Things always work out for me. Everything I need always comes to me in the perfect divine timing. I'm so looked after. I'm so loved and held by this incredible divine energy. And I am beginning to learn to relish it, to roll around in it, to feel, I want to say, elegant, to feel elegant in it, to feel beautiful in it, to feel into the energy of grace with it. And that this can be, some of our new ways of thinking and some of our new ways of creating mantra. Hello, sweet CC. Aloha. Yes. Not too long ago I came online. Hello from Kuau. Oh, you'll have to tell me where that is. That sounds like that might be Hawaiian as well. That's a nice name, the Walk with Mystery. And aren't we all doing that? So, let me get back to this. So, find a new level of balance each day. Become masterful at present moment. Joyful and or truthful observance as much arises or may arise, ready to be completed and let go. So anything that arises like that, you can reform it, reframe it, and let it go. Especially, I got in the first half of this month, you could experience many endings. And so that will also raise grief, because we're really in this very quick turnover, aren't we? So this ongoing inquiry of self, I encourage you to do that this is the healthy approach for this time, and to ask yourself, with everything, does this make me happy? Does this make me feel fulfilled? Does this bring me joy? Does this make me feel filled with love? So you could also be coming across situations that line up with other people. So could be to do with your this time for rebalancing and reconnecting on a different level with friends, family, or relatives in the general sense, community, and with health and the body, because we are really being renewed here. Could also that we come into having to look at finance, money, work, jobs, and divine purpose and mission, and are we on track? Have we made a shift in our direction, or do we need to? Hello, Donna Jean. And also, house and location. So I know these have been, swirling around for a bit, all of these queries, but this feels like a bigger juncture for all of those. And I want to say that by being in good practice of being in present moment, much will naturally and organically fall away, what's not required. So that is going to be a big aspect of our lives now. It's this like a generational expansion and up leveling of this ascension, and we're spiraling through it, and so much will go, and it will be fine. You just have to process it. So a greater exploration of energies and frequencies for many during this month. So ask yourself, does this, if you're trying to decide, you ask your body the question, and then you feel your sensory response. So you might feel it in your heart or in your gut. Ignore the mind. The mind won't give you truth. The mind will give you problems. The mind will give you quandary. So it's not that you ignore the mind in the process, but ignore the mind in decisions, because the mind always goes to what makes the feels familiar and common and old in the mind. But the body will give you a response. So you ask yourself, does this make me feel better or worse? If you're trying to make a decision, does this make me feel calm or agitated? Does this make me feel smiley or grim? And does this make me feel more open or more closed? So those are some general questions you can ask yourself when you are trying to decide whether this next part or this next step is good for you. So you use this as your meter, I want to say, or as your measure through this time. So see this month of February as I've written final, as a final month of self-reflection in preparation for your evolvement into mastery. So you just keep checking in with self around that, and you just know that that's where you are headed. And then there's this idea about, that I spoke of before, that I wrote again, this Holy Trinity. That's what I was given as it. So the Holy Trinity is we are rebirthing and renewing from our masculine and feminine, the holy divine child. This is the renewal, the rebirth of the new version of ourself. And then today is a master day, everyone. It's a universal master day. It's a 2 + 2, which is 4, + 7 for the year, which is 11. That makes it an 11 universal master day. So we've got lots of the elements of the 2 here, because it's a 2-day and a 2-month, and then a universal day of 11, which also makes 2. So this is this balancing, I want to say, the kind of, it often involves the descension into the emotional body, and it's interesting. And we've got water everywhere. I've had people message me from many places around the world saying that they have been in rain, and there was somebody who messaged me saying, I think they are in LA, and that they've been in rain for a couple of months, and that their partner is in Dubai, and that they've had rain there. So yeah, it's interesting, and we can see this rain as having many levels. So somebody wrote to me on the channel and said, you know, what about all the rain, and what about the sunshine? And I might find your comment and read it. That was interesting, and then I'll read you what I wrote back, because it's a good description of this. Actually, I'll just do this right now. Never find my way very smoothly when I'm live doing this. Makes me nervous. Right, where is it? I just answered it. Here we go. Yeah, so someone wrote about the video I did yesterday. Lovely sharing. Not sure exactly which day you recorded this, after the first or second big rain. They live here in Auckland, but last night on the first, driving home from work in the sunshine, the clouds seemed pure white now, without any yellow tinge, so definitely more pure and almost crystalline. Rain, clean, warm and refreshing during the day, but also powerful on the destructive level also. Waking up to see a photo of Wairau Road as a raging river in flood was horrifying. So many people traumatised and left hurting and homeless. The weird weather has been going on since October, hasn't it? It makes me wonder if the plan was to keep the sun energy blanketed so we couldn't visibly see it, a ploy to slow ascension. Sun energy has been so wonderfully huge over these months of cloud and rain. Brightest blessings from Sunset Bay. But this was my response. Yes, I feel we've been in the midst of many narratives being played out at the same time and at different levels and dimensions, and that is certainly one of them. Sun and vitamin D, good for the health, good for crops, bringing in our upgrade codes through its filaments and flares. Summer here cancelled weather-wise, yet all cleansing and renewing. Tough for those who've been rendered homeless, but I'm sure good things will come out of the rebuild. All of this cloud cover could be hiding spacecraft, hiding all the military craft and helicopter action. So all in any of this, including, as you say, slowing down ascension. But this could also be seen as advantageous so that more people can organically ascend. Interesting contemplations. Lots of love to you. So I just wanted to read that to you, because I feel that this is the way that we can navigate this time as well, is to always be looking at these things from various levels and various dimensions, and that we don't have to know the answer. We can just sit in the contemplation of those. And Gaia's been, I guess, speaking to me about that for some time. So that's my offering to you with that. So yeah, this today, this diamond white crystalline light, this universal master day, much illumination will stream onto the planet. So we're in the second here in New Zealand. So it's early evening on the second. And what I was showing is for increased upgrades and psychic gifts. Today I've been feeling these energies in my eyes and head and heart, temples and spine, especially kind of, but in the rear aspect, and Gaia has shown me when I asked her about it. So she showed me, and some of you may have the answer to this. I looked up to see if I could find an answer in human design, because it reminded me of that, and I don't know enough about it, but how it showed up to me a few days ago, and then it's today that I've got around to asking her. So imagine a lotus root. So a lotus root about this big. So lotus is, the root of the lotus is often used in Asian cooking, and it's often when it's sliced through, it has little holes in it. So this is what I was shown. It looked exactly like that. That's the easiest way to describe it. Often sits as a decoration in Chinese and Japanese food, and often floating on the top of miso soup or that kind of on a broth. And so that's what I've seen, and it sits on the top of the back of the spine. And when I asked Gaia about that, she said that it relates to past life streams of information, and now everyone, this is like another upgrade, will be able to more easily access their own Akashic records. So if you've been thinking about doing that, that seems that that's the little upgrade that people have got at the moment. Yes. Okay, I'll finish and then I'll come back to your input. So I did watch a very short news clip. No, I haven't finished. New Zealand and many parts of the earth are in strong rearrangement of personnel at the moment, specifically those with a public presence in leadership. You take this or leave this, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine with me how you receive my information. I'm only giving you what I get, and I just see myself as the messenger. But you feel your way through whether this is something that feels truthful to you or not. But specifically those with a public presence and leadership. And Gaia was showing me that it's like if you imagine two dolls that are exactly the same, that was the metaphor I was being shown. So it's being shown this for our new Prime Minister, that the one doll was being swapped out for the other doll, but they were the same doll. So one is swapped out for another, but they are the same doll. I'm showing that specific example for our new and current Prime Minister. So I will find out who he is and why he is there and what role he is playing. But I did see a very short clip of him where he was standing behind the person who was speaking to do with what was going on with the rain and the floods. So he'd come to the city, and I have to tell you, he struck me as looking like a terrified little boy. So this, of course, could be indicating this swap out approach. That's what I'm showing. And that, yeah, so I've been shown that a lot of leaders around the world are clones or doubles or replicas or actors. So another turn the ship slowly, you know, this could be, I've been using that phrase for a while. So things turn slowly. It's like the news reporters who have delivered the lies, they will also deliver the truth, because that's the constancy. And so the existing structures will change things around as though it's all part of their normal way of operating, that all of a sudden we're in different conditions, and so now things can be opened up or changed over or reversed or revoked. So many are currently uncertain about their life and their well-being and their future, and so this turn the ship slowly is kind of, it's like trying to find the balance between putting everybody on a wobble and giving them some stability and security. So humanity, you could say, is on notice, deliberately put on a wobble, an overwhelm of change and interference to life in many different ways, which requires people to go inwards, to become more self-reliant, more self-resourcing. This instability encouraging people to connect to their own internal source energy and intuition, their heart, their brain, their gut. So we know that we have three brains, one in our head, one in our heart, one in our gut, and we may even have more. We may discover that we have more, but we can use those energetically to help guidance. So becoming more self-sourcing, more self-resourcing. We must become this at least on an introductory level, to open and soften, to receive these ascension waves for higher consciousness into the body. And these ascension waves, they are all building exponentially now. I'll just repeat that because I see I froze. So this is all building exponentially now, and these ascension waves are in the energies are building like that. So many will observe that activity is occurring on many levels, from cleanup to introduction or reinstatement of the new. The inadequacies are showing up first. Yeah, so that we'll be obviously showing what is not working. That's so that we know that this has happened in the etheric. We know that we can see it in the energetic, and now we're really in the physical of this. So I will come back here and just read. Yeah, so last day of the Mayan calendar was yesterday. So the Mayan series. So it's I don't know. Sorry, so many days. Just jumping in. Aloha from Maui. Thank you for these updates. You're very welcome. Hello to you in Kuau. Hello, Donna. Seen quite a bit of rain in Maui over the past week, some flooding in areas. Yes, thank you. So I've heard rain in, or flooding in Sydney, in Los Angeles, in California, rain in Dubai. Remember, Dubai is a desert, hardly ever rains there. So these are all unseasonal. Carolyn, I seem to remember that the eternal flame has something to do with the lotus. Yeah, often. So when I am doing sessions with people, that's one of the early things I do with them, is we go on a little journey into their eternal flame. And yeah, a lot of them, not all of them, it's interesting, but yeah, a lot of them sit like inside the lotus. So if you think about the lotus with the flame or several flames, or they show up differently for whatever purpose and reason, but yeah, that shows up like that. Okay, sorry, my brain only just made that connection. Yes, of course. Yeah, good point. Thank you, Carolyn. Yeah, that's a very good sync up. And certainly, it's in that rare, higher heart aspect. Thank you. So Carolyn is sharing that she's going to be in a public position and getting messages about abundance and someone coming forward to help. It's the eternal flame we are about to reignite. Right. Beautiful. So we're on the edges of it. You can feel it, can't you? That you can feel the build up of all of this, and that we are really on the edges of moving through, and it's just this. You just have to be working with the now, envisioning the future. And which system are you referencing, Carolyn, that you're saying you're here to bring in? So I wonder, if you haven't ever watched my 45-minute video on twins, the templating breakdown and renewal is described in there, and so I'm showing the stacking of templates, and that there are twins who come together in wheels, sets of 12 pairs, and I'm showing that they create a stack of 12 of those, and that locks in with there's one particular set of twins that lock that template in. If you haven't seen that, Carolyn, you might have a look, because you'll fit into that, but it might show up in different ways. But that's what I'm showing. So we've got 12 sets of 12 wheels that create a new torus when each of the sets of divine counterparts have broken the old paradigm that links specifically to them, and then they bring in a new, and that becomes a new toroidal field system, and so each of those relates to the variant changes. But there's more. Because there will be people who aren't twins as well, I believe. So I don't think it's quite like, I want to be very careful that we don't create hierarchy around it. But that's what I'm showing about twins. That's what Gaia showed me. And oh yeah, do. So that was like a two years of kind of collection of notes and data to put that together. But that's how I see we will re-template many things, and so there'll be other beings who are here who will create a templating that's similar for our entire world to be rebuilt, reconstituted, and so we do that energetically first. Anyway, it's very, very interesting, this new energy. It is very uplifting and illuminating, and it also will be challenging. You may feel moved to tears, because this is another up level into another new place, releasing another set of the old. All right, so thank you so much for joining me. You take very good care. Lots of love to you. I'll just read that last. Yeah, perfect. Wonderful. All right. Happy to have a conversation with you about that, Carolyn. And yeah, thank you. 33 people. Gotta love the number, Saints. All right. Bye, everyone.